My original career plans, when I was able to form them fairly late in life, I was going to go and be an educator, specifically in English literature. Can you believe that? So I went out and got 3 degrees. I've got a degree in English. That was my bachelor's degree. And then I got a master's degree in English. And then I figured, well, why not, take the mistake all the way to the bank, go all the way to the end goal. And so I got a PhD in English. And by the time my wife and I had 2 and I think and a half kids, I kind of realized that waiting around for that tenure track job, I shouldn't say waiting around, but getting that tenure track job was a little tough. Anyway, so I went back into the IT scene that had interested me early on, but frankly, a lot of the way computers were back in the 80s and systems and all that. In the 80s, the internet was invented, but few people knew about it. I was able, as a graduate student, to work on a database that was a long-term database in books, and we migrated it to the internet. So by 1992, I was working on the internet, which is pretty early for a lot of folks. At that point, I was starting to learn this thing called Gopher, and there was this new thing coming out called HTML, and so I started learning that. So what I did is I applied my learning of my ability to do research, pretty good researcher because of that PhD in unemployment in English that I got, and I applied that to researching technology. And so I got into doing firewalls and things, and after a while, I was able to. I was on a dissertation fellowship. Which is great because they give you a stipend, they give you money to just do the dissertation. Well, while I was doing the dissertation, people started asking me, the professors, they were having problems with their computers, and I started supporting them. I started going in there and, well, let me fix this for you and stuff like that. And after a while, I was getting paid more, just for a couple of months of work than I was in the dissertation fellowship. I finished my dissertation, but I think 2 weeks later, I graduated my PhD, but at that point I had already gotten a job as a technical editor. And I moved quickly from the technical editor to being a writer, to doing consulting work with security. And then after a while, the education kind of bug hit me again. And so I had one leg in the technical world and one leg as an educator. And that's when I helped create a bunch of certifications for an outfit about web technology. And I started creating certification and education programs for IBM and Symantec. And so what I did is I combined those soft skills, research, things like that, with an IT interest, and that's kind of where I am today. So I'm what a friend of mine calls a retread. So I went and did one thing, and then kind of like a tire, I retreaded myself into the IT world. And so in making that shift, it's worked out fairly well for me, and I'm very interested in helping others get into that.